Virginia decided an 18 class tonight inside the Stewart Single Center as the VCU Rams finally looking to gain a share of first place in the A-10, but standing in their way, the current leaders of the conference, St. Louis, who right now are 3-0 and the lone undefeated team in the conference as we take a look at the standings. However, the VCU win tonight, they will have a share of first, along with George Mason, who currently sits at 3-1. We welcome you courtside here at the Single Center. I'm Sean Robinson, great to be back. We're in next to the member of the 2011 Final Four team, the VCU Rams, 8-0 currently back home here at the Single Center, trying to step up another box as they look to gain an A-10 regular season championship.
Absolutely. And tonight, let's play St. Louis. And this is going to be a great game for the simple fact that both teams are hitting their stride in this moment. So we're going to see who we really reach the season right now.
The Pelicans right now, what is a 4 in a row for a player to watch for the Pelicans is one of the best big men in the entire country. Robbie Allen.
Robbie Allen got 18.6 rebounds, 5 assists in the game. He's the hard one. Everything runs through him. Pick up that game in such a fashion that they're going to need him to have a big night if they want to have success against this big VCU defense.
And for VCU, Joe Bamisile.
Joe Bamisile averages 16 points a game, 5 rebounds. He has the ultimate, and I do mean ultimate green light. He's never seen a shot he doesn't like. He can score on all 3 levels, and he's doing a really good job of crashing the glass. He's going to have a big game if he continues to do that.
He's coming off an 18-point performance against Florida last week. Now, Carmack keys to the game. Carmack home with a 30-day money-back guarantee first to St. Louis.
St. Louis needs to compete on the glass. VCU is the first, number 1 in the A-10 in offensive rebound, and also they need to handle VCU's pressure. VCU is also number 1 in defense. If they can do that, they're going to have a good shot at playing this game. Now, for VCU, pick and roll defense is going to be very important. They're playing against a very good guard, and both can also Avila is great in pick and roll. So now, they're also going to have to play St. Louis three-point defense. All that offense, what can you on the other end is going to be very big for VCU.
So the Rams continue their strong play at home. But the St. Louis Eagles, their first ever win at the Single Center, starting out in the opening tip. Here on Maxton and on the
Back here at the Single Center for the starting lineups between St. Louis and VCU. Will start with the Pelicans. They're presented by the Red Door guys. They can help you get rid of that unwanted property just as fast as the Rams want to get rid of the Pelicans tonight. Give the Red Door guys a call at 804-373-7267. Isaiah Swope, Kobe Johnson, Gibson Jefferson, the guards for St. Louis, Kalu Anya, and Robbie Avila up front for St. Louis. And for VCU, their starting lineup brought to you by the VCU Black and Gold MasterCard from Virginia Credit Union. Their 4-guard alignment with Phil Russell, Max Shoga, Joe Bamisile, Jack Clark, and Luke Bamboye getting his 6th start of the season. Right now leading the A-10 in block shots per game.
I love what Bamboye is bringing to VCU right now. His energy and his ability to block shots, anchoring that defense, is a wonderful thing to watch, especially if you're a VCU fan.
We got the crowd here at the Stew. Very different setting than we had last week as the Rams control the opening tip wearing the home white against St. Louis.
That boiling water alert was insane.
The entire city got messed up because of that.
I love basketball, but I'm glad I can take a shower.
Russell a little long on the 3, and Isaiah Swope the rebound, and I concur with that. Avila from straight away and hits for St. Louis. Avila can shoot the 3. He's 37% from behind the arc this season, and the Pelicans out in front.
And that was a mental breakdown by VCU on defense, not getting matched up in transition.
Bamisile the matchup against Gibson Jefferson. Jack Clark for 3, ring it up.
And I know that feels really good for Jack Clark. He's been struggling as of late with a shot, but that one is a good sign for VCU.
He was 1 for 29 from 3 in his last 10 games. But that one looked pure, and we're tied at 3.
Stepped into it with confidence.
That's an interesting matchup to watch as well with Swope and Phil Russell. Kobe Johnson, met up by Bamboye. Jefferson catch and shoot. Shoga the rebound. Up ahead is Bamisile for the 5th. crackdown of defense by St. Louis not getting back.
Absolutely.
Rams have their first lead at 5-3. Stripped by Clark. Found Russell all alone for 3.
And they are locked in. VCU is locked in.
Rams are on an 8-0 run to lead by 5.
Now, St. Louis has to stay poised throughout this. This is one of the runs. The game is full of runs. If they want to be in this game, we're going to have to be able to withstand them.
And an offensive foul on St. Louis. They're going to call that on Anya, as Coach Josh Schertz was unhappy on the call on Teddy Valentine, and he was also unhappy on that dunk, and then the 3 by Phil Russell.
St. Louis is going to have to do a really good job of transition, finding their matchups. VCU likes to push the pace and run when the opportunity is there.
Russell retrieved the pass from Clark as the Rams are on an 8-0 run. Clark across the lane, fades away. Loose ball picked up by Bamboye. Shulga for 3 and an air ball. Loose ball, still loose and picked up by St. Louis, and Teddy Valentine blows another whistle.
And St. Louis dodged the bullet right there. VCU, number 1 in the A-10 in offensive rebounding. Max Shulga led to Max Shulga getting a wide open shot, and usually he knocks those down.
Shulga, the team's second leading scorer this season at just under 16 points a game, and was shooting 41% from 3 coming into tonight. Swope from straight away. Bamisile the rebound. He's averaging nearly 6 boards a game this year. Nice pass to Bamboye, but it was tipped by St. Louis. Bamisile gets it back and it rolls off. Russell almost forced the travel.
I think he did. The referees missed that one.
Lee Castle, Michael Greenstein, and we already mentioned Ted Valentine, the 3 men in the striped shirts. Avila going up against Bamboye. Loses it, gets it back, inside. Bamisile out of bounds.
Great recovery, defensive VCU right there. Had a couple of mistakes on communication on the screen. However, the helper helped.
It's a nice pass by Avila, but Bamisile, good help side B.
Absolutely.
And Coach Ryan Odom talked about that this week, how important communication was going to be on defense, especially against an offense as prolific as St. Louis. Here's Swope beating the shot clock and hitting the 3 in front of the Rams bench.
And Swope's step back to his left is his bread and butter. It's very hard to guard. He gets it off with a little bit of a fade in it. I expect to see that a lot tonight.
That snapped an 8-0 VCU run. Bamisile over Jimerson and hits the triple.
Two Richmond natives going at it.
Yeah. Chesterfield County and Richmond, Monacan High School, and St. Christopher's and Benedictine. Good hands by Shulga. Avila gets it back. And a whistle and a foul. They're going to say it's on VCU. And that brings us to our first media timeout. 15:39 to go in the first half. VCU leading by 5 here at the Siegel Center. Back after this. Rams have an 11-6 lead over St. Louis, the leaders in the A-10. Sean Robinson along with Ed Nixon, a member of the 2011 Final Four team. VCU sits a game back of the Billikens at 2-1. St. Louis, the lone undefeated in the A-10, but right now trailing by 5. What do they need to do to kind of get back on track?
Well, this game is going to be a game of discipline for both teams. VCU has to be disciplined on the defensive end because the actions that St. Louis runs. Now, St. Louis is going to have to be disciplined in their transition defense. VCU is going to get the ball and run, and they're also going to have to do a great job of boxing out. VCU is going to crash the boards and make them put a body on somebody.
Avila at the free throw line, a 71% shooter this season. The team is near the bottom collectively at free throw shooting, just 65%, 13th in the A-10 as Robbie splits a pair.
Well, they have only 3 guys shooting the ball. So
But they're 3 of the best in the country.
3 of the best in the country.
In fact, St. Louis, the only team in the country with 3 players averaging at least 17-8 a night.
It's ridiculous to see it on the stat sheet. It was almost unbelievable.
Yeah. Sugar inside, partially blocked. Furman, the tip in.
Again, another offensive board.
Coach Schertz told us that last night. We've got to defend the backboard, protect the glass, and right now a couple of offensive rebounds for VCU has given them a 6-point lead.
And it makes it difficult with VCU because usually they have 4 guards out there driving and kicking the ball, getting these different matchups, getting people out of position that they're comfortable in, and now all of a sudden you got guys crashing the board hard. It makes it difficult for other teams to box them out.
St. Louis just committed their 2nd turnover of the night. Rams ahead by 6. Zeb Jackson and Furman on the floor with Bamisile, Shulga, and Clark. Skip pass to Clark. Tried to go baseline. Good defense by Kalu. Here's Jackson for 3. Clark an offensive rebound. Nice pass inside to Furman. Had it blocked inside and out of bounds. It'll stay with VCU.
On that last play, I would love to see Zeb Jackson go to his strength, which is using his athleticism and attacking the rim. I think he settles for that jump shot a little bit too much. However, St. Louis, again, giving up another offensive rebound, is going to be their Achilles heel tonight if they don't get it fixed.
Zeb mentioned that at the beginning of the year as Bamisile tries the ball and will get a chance at a 4-point play. And they're going to get that on Gibson Jimerson. As we look back at that attempt by Bamisile.
And Bamisile has a little flair to his shot naturally, but he better watch that leg or that could easily be an offensive foul.
I thought for a minute there TV Ted was going to call that a flop as Max Shulga comes out and Russell back in with his left hand wrapped up as Bamisile converts on the 4-point play. And he's got 9 of VCU's 17 as they're ahead by 10.
You see if St. Louis can get some offense running here, get some continuity and some rhythm to the offense.
Swope for 3, and he hits.
That'll do it.
His 2nd from behind the arc. He's got 6 of the 10 Billikens points. St. Louis coming in 10-6 overall this year. First in the A-10 and forced the turnover. VCU's first of the night. Swope again, the hot man for St. Louis with 6 of the 10 on a mismatch. Max Picard in wearing number 35 for the first down.
Good action right now.
Avila draws a blocking foul against VCU, and that's going to go against Phil Russell.
But that's what happens when you get the ball swinging from side to side, get the defense moving out of position. Avila can shoot the ball, easy pump fake, drives to the pole, draws a foul.
You mentioned during our pregame, Avila is the hub. The offense runs through him, and we don't see that a lot where the offense is going to run through the center as opposed to a guard or a forward.
The only other team in the A-10 I believe does that sometimes is Richmond. Richmond University, especially last year, they ran their offense through their bigs. But Avila is a different beast. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, if you may.
Oh, that's high praise. That's high praise. First team A-10 preseason selection. Now remember, he's a transfer from Indiana State, where Coach Schertz was last season. So he comes into the conference, gets the high praise as a preseason first team selection.
As Hoopers like to say, game recognized game.
A 5-point lead for VCU, now 7. Pretty jump up by Christian Furman on the baseline.
And I love that VCU is incorporating their bigs into their offense, keeping them engaged in the game, and it'll pay dividends on the defensive end later on.
Kellen Thames in for the first time, wearing number 0 for St. Louis. Good hands there by Michael Bell in for the first time for VCU. Shot clock is at 5. Avila with the nice spin, and then Bamisile is called for goaltending.
Great move by Avila on the baseline. Smooth spin move on Furman.
I see that frequently with the spin, and then we see sometimes a little bit of a hook after that. It was there on that play, and the officials kind of have let that go from time to time.
I think that spin move is almost like hand check. Hand checking. As long as it's not egregious, I think the referees let it slide.
Max Shulga back in for VCU. So it's Russell, Shulga, Jackson, Furman, and Michael Bell. Jackson maneuvering inside, draws contact, no whistle. Last touched by St. Louis.
I like Zeb Jackson getting into the paint and putting the pressure on the referees, whether you're going to call a foul or not. Sometimes you have to play that way.
Ted Valentine didn't take the bait on that play.
Oh, he's a veteran.
He is a veteran. Final Four national championship veteran. Inside the Bell, bring it home.
Good drive, kick by Max Shulga. Good cut by Michael Bell.
Very unselfish by VCU. They've assisted on nearly 60% of their field goals this year. Missed 3 by Jimerson. Bell looking to run. And then it's tied up. Good play there by Swope to cause a tie up in the arrow, favoring the Billikens.
Good hands there. I think Michael Bell could be really aggressive in the open court, but Swope did not fall for any of the tricks. Stayed disciplined, got the tie up.
Took his life in his own hands right there, because Bell was like a freight train coming down the lane, but he stood his ground to cause that tie up. Inside 12 minutes of this first half, VCU with a 21-14 lead over the Billikens. They led by as many as 10. As Swope again for 3, and he's made 3 from behind the arc, and now has 9 for St. Louis.
Like I said, that step back is deadly. That was pretty decent defense, just better offense.
A 34% three-point shooter this season. Inside the Furman with the reverse, plus the foul.
What a
and
smooth pass by Max Shulga. Furman seems to be locked in.
I mentioned they assisted on nearly 60% of their field goals this season. That's 40th best in the country, and another assist for VCU as they're up by 6. Back after this here at the Stew. Over St. Louis, 23-17 here at the Siegel Center. The officials went to the BB Sport screen to check to see whether or not the last play, not this one, was goaltended or not, but Furman being a menace inside and flexing to the fans here at the Stew.
Yes, Furman is making his presence though. And for VCU, their front court has struggled with that throughout this season. They had good games, they had bad games. It's good to see Furman getting off to a good start.
Yeah, they reviewed the goaltend on St. Louis's last possession when Bamisile got the block, and it was confirmed it was a goaltend. So the score is correct, 23-17 VCU, but back to Christian Furman. He only had 3 points and 5 rebounds against Fordham last Wednesday. 6 points so far in just over 8 minutes.
Sometimes you have to call a spade a spade. And with Christian Furman, he gets hype and he gets up for games where he's playing against a formidable big. Who else better than Avila?
Kind of like against Loyola, he had a season high 14 against the Ramblers on the road, against a former Ram,
teammate, yeah.
Jalen DeLoach. 6-point lead for VCU after Furman missed that free throw. Shot clock dwindling down to 10. Swope has 9, has the ball. The switch is stolen by Russell. Here's Jennings in transition. Partially blocked by Picard. Ball out of bounds. And it will stay with VCU.
Very physical play there. Very physical. I love Brandon Jennings because he fears nothing. He's a freshman and he fears nothing. He goes there trying to get a contact, trying to go for an N1. Might have been smarter to pull it out, but I live with the aggression.
Well, like I say, he's one of the 3 true freshmen that's earning his minutes. And plays like that is, like you say, showing no fear in that log jam in the backcourt.
Absolutely.
Shulga for 3. Got it.
And you just can't give Shulga that much space.
41% three-point shooter this season, amongst the best in the conference. And the Rams ahead by 9. Avila going up against Bell. Tough matchup for Michael, and he draws the foul.
Yeah, Avila has been struggling to get his scoring going. Smart play, putting the pressure on the referees, getting to the line. Or excuse me, drawing the foul.
That's VCU's 4th team foul. St. Louis with only 3 is Dylan Warlick, a freshman from Edmond, Oklahoma, on the floor for St. Louis wearing number 33. Coach Schertz told us last night the bench is thin with some injuries and also an illness to Amari McCutchery. He's not even in the building tonight for St. Louis, so maybe 8 guys will play for St. Louis tonight. Jimerson got Sugar in the air and hits the triple from straight away.
That shot is so smooth.
Gibson is the all-time leader in threes in the A-10. Hit his first, and Russell on the other end looking a chance at the old-fashioned three-point play.
What a smooth finish there. Patience, driving to the lane. You think he's going up with the left hand, switches to the right, and 1.
Phil Russell drawing the contact and looking at the crowd. Saying, where were you last week?
But I think VCU's doing a really good job. They're really trying to make all of St. Louis guards guard the ball. You're going to have to play defense. Jimerson, you're going to have to play defense. Swope, you're going to have to play defense. Russell, especially when they're undermanned.
Russell completes a three-point play. And Jennings causes a tie-up as Kobe Johnson hit the floor, and he didn't use the timeout to save possession, so Brandon heads up play, causes a jump ball, and the arrow favors the Rams.
And if I'm St. Louis, I am kind of annoyed with that call, because usually when somebody falls, a foul is called. However, they didn't call it. And I think in college basketball in general, they're starting to call tie-ups a little bit faster to avoid any injuries, anything like that. So sometimes it's just how the cookie crumbles.
Jennings plays a couple of minutes, so he will take a seat for a few minutes. And Joe Bamisile back in for the Rams. He has 9, tied for the game high, and he'll shoot for 3. The rebound to Johnson.
I think Bamisile is taking this matchup personally.
A little bit. He's on a switch against Avila. Backs it down, draws contact, and Avila will get 2 free throws. As Bamisile gets called for the first.
And if I'm St. Louis, I'm taking this tidbit of information I'm gathering from this game. VCU's doing a lot of switching. Every time we get a switch with Avila, I'm begging him to take advantage of the mismatch. He did that 2 times in a row, and I think he's going to keep it up for the rest of the game.
Only 3 players have scored for St. Louis tonight, and it's the big 3.
Let me guess.
I'm sorry. I should have let you answer. Swope and Avila each have 9, and Jimerson has 3. And now Avila leads all scorers, first player in double figures with 10. He averages 17-8 this season. 7-point VCU lead. Bamisile on the attack, partially blocked from behind. Recovered by Zeb Jackson with 10 to shoot. Jackson with the jump stop. Looked inside the Bamboye and was last touched by St. Louis.
That was almost Ben Simmons-like. He didn't realize he had the wide open layup.
Wow.
Ben Simmons, he was a great player.
He was.
He was a great player. And then, I don't know what happened.
Then his NBA career is, who knows. Off the inbound. Russell hits the floor, no foul. St. Louis now in transition, down by 7. Avila, nice bounce pass inside. And a foul on Luke.
Now, the fans don't like that foul. However, if he goes straight up, he still gets the block. The fact that he brought his hand down made it an easy call for the referees.
Bamboye gets called for the foul. And Kalu Anya, the team's leading rebounder at the free throw line. He is one of their worst free throw shooters on the roster, just 36% this season.
Yikes.
The transfer from Brown played in 49 games for Brown over his 2-year career and shot an air ball on the second attempt.
Much to the VCU fans' delight.
He's going to hear that the rest of the night. And I think Ryan Odom will have that in his Rolodex at the end of the game.
Like if it's close.
If he's on the floor and the game's close,
I wouldn't question it. And this is the zone that St. Louis likes to run.
Here's Bamisile. Jackson on the move. Bamisile on the drive with 5 to shoot. Clark left open for 3. Bamisile an offensive rebound, and it was blocked by Anya. He's one of the top shot blockers also in the A-10. And inside, they look to Kobe Johnson, and he'll score with the left hand.
Great resilience by St. Louis right now. They love that zone. VCU does a good job of driving and kicking. I thought they were a little bit too unselfish the last trip down.
St. Louis back in it, down by 5. Russell. Clark an offensive rebound. Clark goes up and under and scores.
But that's another issue. St. Louis is already having a hard time boxing out in man-to-man. Now they're in zone, which is difficult to rebound in.
Clark has had 2 double-doubles in his last 4 games. Jimerson to catch and shoot. And Clark another rebound. That's his 3rd. VCU up by 7. Maneuvering inside is Jackson. Bamisile an offensive rebound. And they're going to get a jump ball. And the arrow's going to favor St. Louis. And the crowd didn't like it at all.
As the Bulls rain down, they think Zeb Jackson got fouled in that play.
Timeout on the floor with 7:27 to go, and VCU in a good one, leading St. Louis by 7. Back after this here at the Siegel Center. VCU with a 31-24 lead over St. Louis, leaders of the A-10. Sean Robinson along with Ed Nixon, a member of the 2011 Final Four team. We got an entertaining first 12 minutes and change. What has stood out in this first half so far?
Absolutely the offensive rebounding by VCU. They have 10 offensive rebounds, and they have 13 points on second chance. So St. Louis has an issue right there in front of them that they can solve. Will they solve it is the question.
That was one of the keys that Coach Schertz told us this week. We have to defend the glass, and we've got to handle the pressure that VCU will employ, especially with the crowd. They will be the 6th man here tonight. Swope with 9 points in just over 12 minutes of work. Avila, the mismatch on Zeb Jackson, ball on the floor and stolen by Zeb. Shoga gives up the 3, and VCU will set it. Being patient here on this offensive set. Nice pass to Clark. Extra pass to Bamisile for 3.
I tell you what, when you're guarding Joe Bamisile, it doesn't matter if your nose is touching his chest. If he catches it and feels good about it, which he usually does, it's going up.
He's got a dozen to lead all scorers here in this first half, and it's a 10-point lead, matching VCU's largest of the first half. Swope again. And the rebound to Shoga. He's got Bamisile down court, and he'll lay it in. No travel, because Nick Castle said that Bamisile never had full control, so no walk.
Bamisile looked like a wide receiver right there.
Almost like Terry McLaurin.
You don't talk about that.
Sorry, soft spot there for Ed.
Tampa Bay, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Baker, you had a great season.
Kobe Johnson quieted the crowd a little bit with that 3 to snap the 7-0 VCU run, but Jalen Daniels will move on to Motown this weekend. Here's Jackson.
Good
looking
patience.
for help. They've been very patient in this first half. Not a lot of quick shots. Shoga, with the shot clock winding down, misses on the 3, and St. Louis has it down by 9.
Swope's ability to stop and go is just amazing.
Nice pass. Stripped away by VCU. And now a tie-up, and it's taken away by the Rams. And St. Louis gets it back.
They're playing extremely hard right now.
Avila draws contact by Luke Bamboye, and that's his second.
And Bamboye, he's young. He has to understand that once the offensive player has position, you have to wall him up, keep your hands as high as possible. If he can score over that, good defense, keep that foul in your pocket.
That was a veteran move there by Robbie as Luke picks up his second foul. And Avila already will be his 7th and 8th attempts at the strike tonight. Brandon Jennings back in for VCU, and Furman will come in to replace Bamboye, who will lead with those 2 fouls. So big minutes for Furman.
Absolutely. If Furman can bring the intensity that I think he can bring, it's not going to be much of a drop-off. It should be a step up, actually.
He started most of this season. Speaking of Furman, he has started 11 games this year, but Bamboye's picked it up late and got the start tonight, his 6th of the season. VCU with a 7-point lead.
Now VCU in the zone, they had to have somebody crashing.
We saw this against Fordham. Fordham threw a little zone against them as well. Sugar, the step back 3. Long rebound to Swope.
That was not.
Gibson catch and shoot. Jennings climbs the ladder for the rebound.
See if VCU can get some rhythm to this this zone offense. See, they got Jack Clark flashing into the middle.
Because how do you attack this zone by St. Louis?
Just like that. You got to have somebody in the middle, whether that's to turn around and score or collapse the defense for kickouts.
Clark with 7 inside.
Oh my God.
That is Kalu Anyo with the basket. His first field goal of the night.
That was a tough finish.
Shielded by a couple of Rams defenders, couldn't see the number. A 7-point VCU lead. Zeb Jackson sneaks inside, gets his own miss, and another 20 for the Rams. Jackson for 3. Jennings another chance. Jennings with the putback and score.
And Jennings is going to be one of those guards. Over the years, you're going to see him be one of the better rebounding guards in the A-10. He's long, lengthy, athletic.
Sam got called for the foul in the backcourt. That will be a 1-on-1 opportunity for St. Louis when we come back with 3:16 to go. VCU leading 40-31 over St. Louis. More VCU basketball right after this. Big game here at the Siegel Center with VCU leading 40-31 over St. Louis. This is a battle for first place in the Atlantic 10. The Billikens right now, the lone unbeaten in the conference at 3-0. George Mason 3-1. They're off tonight. This is a standalone game on the A-10 schedule. So a VCU win would move them into a share of first in the conference with the Billikens and George Mason. Should the Rams take care of business at home, where they are perfect 8-0 this year.
And this is a great opportunity for VCU. Now you know that everybody has a TV on watching. This is a time you can make a statement. Why not?
VCU 8-0 at home this year, averaging around 81 points a game here at the Stew against a Billikens team that is 0-9 at the Siegel Center all time. Have never won a game as in a visiting squad here at the Stew.
Never?
Never. 0-9 all time.
I just knew back when Jet was playing for St. Louis. You remember the guard?
Yeah,
Jet?
yeah.
Wow.
Never won here at the Stew to include, can I remember CBI tournament?
Can't believe it.
Was it both games in St. Louis, or was it one here?
It was one here, one in St. Louis. It was the CBI. It was one of those games, one of those tournaments where you didn't make the big dance, didn't make the NIT, and you had to pay to play in it. Nobody wanted to play in it. Coach Smart was like, we're going to play in it. So he said, can't believe it.
And you won it. You beat St. Louis. And that was one of those non-losses here at the Stu. Brandon Jennings has been a presence off the bench for VCU. 4 points and 3 rebounds here in this game. And a couple of St. Chris standouts guarding each other, Jennings and Jimerson. And now a foul on VCU and wave off that clean block by Christian Furman as Furman got called.
Yeah, that's a pretty tough call. Clean up top, both players going in toward the basket, bang, bang play. I can see it being a call, I can see it being no call.
Avila is living at the free throw stripe here in this first half. This will be his 9th and 10th attempts in the first half. A solid free throw shooter this year is 71%. Missed 4 games earlier this year due to injury. Was on the Naismith preseason watch list, on the Wooden Award preseason list.
The kid is good. But what he's doing a really good job at is taking advantage of the mismatch when they come up. When they arise, he's attacking.
He's got 13 points in 16 minutes in this first half. But Joe Bamisile leading all scorers with 14 for VCU, who are ahead by 8. They look to Furman against Avila. Shot clock under 10. Swope is called for the foul. And a sarcastic round of applause by the VCU Ram Nation here at the Stu.
You gotta love fans. You gotta love fans. That's why I could never be an official. I could never be an official. It's too much pressure.
Always the road team. Always on the road. Jennings is going to get a round of applause for his efforts. 4 points, 3 points, 4 points, 3 rebounds in 5 minutes of work. Russell caught in the lane, got it back from Clark. Here's Clark on the move. Bamisile with the jump hook. And saved by St. Louis. We're inside of 2 minutes and VCU ahead by 8.
Now, if you're St. Louis, you're in striking distance. You want to really take care of the ball, get great shots in these last 2 minutes. Get this thing a little bit closer before you go into halftime.
Russell just got called for his second. And that's the 10th team foul on VCU. So now 2 free throws for St. Louis. And Isaiah Swope, a 71% shooter this season, a transfer from Indiana State. He and Avila joined their coach, Coach Shirt. Well, he was pure at the line as well.
Well, you know, officiating usually works like this. In the first half, one team is getting most of the calls. Usually it flips in the second half just because the rotation of the officials, and certain officials call it a certain way.
2 made free throws by Swope. He has 11. Avila has 13, and Jimerson just 1 of 5 in this first half, has 3. 27 of St. Louis's 36 points in this first half. Nice cut to Clark, and he'll finish.
Good find by Bamisile. Not really known for his passing, but that was great.
He's a gunner, but he can also distribute. Coach Schertz will use it or lose it timeout as VCU ahead by 8. They've been around that 5 to 10 mark in this first half. They've led by as many as 10. St. Louis, their only lead was 3-0 in this first half.
Well, the thing is, they haven't found an issue. They haven't found a way to stop VCU from offensive rebound the ball. Every other time down, VCU gets the offensive rebound, and they're killing them in the point. They have at least 18 points in the paint right now.
That's a huge stat for VCU, especially a team that relies heavily on the perimeter shot. Absolutely. They take a ton of threes. In fact, they are the #1 team in the A-10 in attempts from 3 this year. But getting inside and attacking Avila and Kobe Johnson and Anya has been a pleasant surprise for Coach Odom.
Absolutely. And that was one of their keys to the game. They want to attack and make the big 3 of St. Louis guard and play defense. And And they've been doing a really good job of doing it. Both teams are really doing a good job of executing offensively.
Johnson has it looking a little bit of a zone by VCU right now. Don't see that often for the Rams. Shot clock is under 10. Touch pass went back to Kalu, under 3 to shoot. Here's Swope in that left corner and hits as the shot clock almost expired.
That was a tough shot. Falling out of bounds.
Swope with 14 first half points. He's tied for the game high with Bamisile and St. Louis down by 5.
What a big shot that was.
Under 10 to shoot. Shulga to Bamisile for 3. Ring it up.
Right back at you.
17 for Bamisile and VCU back in front by 8. Avila from straight away. And get the bounce to end the half.
What does Saudi have? What does Saudi have in basketball?
Robbie Avila with 16 first half points to lead St. Louis. Joe Bamisile, he leads all scorers with 17. And VCU has a 47-42 lead over St. Louis. TJ will take care of our halftime activities here at the Stu with the Rams leading by 5. Back after this here at the Senior Center. As VCU leads 47-42, Sean Robertson, Ed Nixon, a member of the 2011 Final Four team. What stood out for you in that first half?
Well, for St. Louis, I would say their shot-making ability. I thought VCU played pretty good defense for the most part, but it didn't matter to St. Louis. Swope and Avila did a really good job of making their presence felt offensively. And VCU, just their physicality on crashing the boards and dominating the paint.
St. Louis shot 61% in the first half and forces a turnover on the Rams' first possession. Starting 5 for both are on the floor, and Gibson Jimerson scores his second field goal.
And these first 4 minutes are going to determine how this game is going to go. If St. Louis can force VCU to call the first timeout, we're going to be in for a good one.
Billikens down by 3, trailed by as many as 10. Bamisile had thought about going to Bamboye. Here's Russell attacking. Bamboye tipped it away. Raced down by Jimerson. Billikens with a chance to tie if they can hit on a 3. Swope with 14 in the first half. Anya down low is called for a double dribble. Don't see that too often.
Yeah, you really don't. But again, good help side defense by VCU, forcing Anya into that.
One thing about VCU in this run at home is how they have dominated the second halves against their opponents. They're plus 85 in point differential at home in the second half. Bamboye an offensive rebound. Bamisile uses the left hand and doesn't drop. Another chance for St. Louis to tie, trailing by 3.
I like the attack by Bamisile, just couldn't get the finish.
Avila guarded by Clark. Avila on the move. Offensive rebound. Jimerson for 3. Had a good look and a rebound to VCU.
VCU fans had to hold their breath right there.
They remember him at St. Chris and at Benedictine when he was in high school. Shulga down low, finishes strong. Shulga just his second made field goal of this game. Swope guarded by Shulga. The switch by Bamboye. Avila got away with a walk. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
He was called for a walk. He was about to walk back to Indiana State.
Walk right back.
Go right past St. Louis and go back to his old school at Indiana State.
Package luggage and everything.
Rams ahead by 5. 2.5 minutes gone by here in the second half. Russell long on the 3. Offensive rebound for Clark. He's got 4 boards in this game. Bamisile left open. And the long rebound to Avila.
His form looks a little wonky, but he's capable of hitting that shot.
Something to work on this offseason to expand his game. St. Louis has not scored in over 2.5 minutes. A turnover by the Billikens. Their 9th of this game as Bamisile brings it up. Trying to set a screen for Bamisile. Good move to the bucket, and he'll go to the line for 2 free throws.
And another sarcastic cheer from the Ram fans.
Kalu Anya, his 2nd foul, and the first on the team in this half. And Bamisile, who's been a solid free throw shooter throughout his entire career, down a little bit this year, only 65% from the line.
Which is very odd. Don't you think that's pretty odd?
I think so. Him and Sugar. Sugar has gotten better the last few games, but still surprising. He's only 71. But for Bamisile to be under 70% is a little surprising.
It's surprising for him to be such an offensive juggernaut the way he is, averaging just under 17 points per game.
Team's leading scorer, 9th in the A-10 in scoring. But he's made all 3 attempts tonight. And it's a 7-point VCU lead. St. Louis got to try to take care of the basketball here. A miss as that scoring drought continues for St. Louis as it's gone past the 3-minute mark. Here's Johnson trying to go downhill. Cut off by Swope. Bamisile. And out of bounds, it'll stay with VCU as Gibson couldn't hold it.
St. Louis has to do a better job of hitting first. When I say hitting first, when the ball leaves offensive players' hands, as a defender, you have to turn, find the man you need to box out, and hit them first. Whether that be, back in the day, we can hit them with a little forearm shiver. But now you got to turn, put your butt on them and box out. Pause if needed.
Yeah, it's an offensive game now in basketball. Bamisile off for the Clark screen. Tipped by Furman and saved by Clark. Here's Jackson, bumped by Gibson. No foul.
Interesting.
They look to Furman inside against Avila. Going with the jump hook. Little long. St. Louis clears, down by 7.
Too much dip on his chip right there.
VCU has missed their last 5 field goal attempts. That was last touched by VCU. It'll stay with St. Louis as we're at the under 16-minute media timeout. And VCU ahead by 7. More from the Siegel Center right after this. The 51-44 lead over St. Louis. A battle for first in the Atlantic 10. As St. Louis leading the conference at 3-0. VCU a game back at 2-1 and probably watching maybe some George Mason Patriots.
Absolutely. I got a text about how good George Mason is this year. And they're one of the best defensive teams, actually the best defensive team is what I was told in the A-10.
VCU will see George Mason on February 22nd. The only meeting between the Patriots and Rams. That's normally a home and home in the conference, but just one game this year.
One of my best friends is a former Patriot. I want to let him know I'm taking all bets.
Let the line start immediately. Under 5 to shoot for St. Louis, and Gibson is called for travel.
And that's what you have to do to Jimerson. You have to make him put the ball on the ground and see if he can create something off the dribble. He really struggles with that. But if you allow him to come off the screen and catch and shoot, he'll make you pay for it.
That last offensive set just seemed all out of sorts for them, especially coming off of a timeout. Clark left open for 3. Jack Clark with his second made 3 in this game. Before tonight, he was 1 for 29 for 3 in his last 10 games. Erase that stat now.
Erase it. And that's the biggest thing is his willingness to change his approach to the game. Early on this season, all he wanted to do was catch and shoot. He forgot that he was 6'10" and athletic. But now he's putting pressure on the rim, and now he's getting wide open shots, able to step into him with confidence and knock him down.
Clark's got 12. That's coming off a 5-point, 11-rebound performance against Fordham last Wednesday. And back to the line for St. Louis is Avila. He attempted 10 free throws in the first half, so 11 and 12 already.
Avila's putting up James Harden numbers from the free throw line.
Yes, he is. And made both. 11 of 13 from the line is Avila. First team All A-10 preseason selection. Jennings on the move against Gibson. Former Saints going against each other.
Good defense by St. Louis.
Clark again for 3. Johnson vacuums in the rebound for St. Louis, trailing by 8.
St. Louis did a really good job of individual defense.
VCU, though, still winning on the battle of the rebounds, 25-16. Swope misfires on the 3. And a one-and-done opportunity offensively. Russell loses control. Thought he was held. Avila guarded by Furman.
Let's see what Avila can get to the paint or get to the free throw line again. Good
nice spin
move
by Avila inside.
Good move, my
Anya
goodness.
scores for St. Louis to pull within 6.
Furman might be dizzy.
What a spin by Avila. Here's Jackson inside, and he'll get 2 free throws.
My goodness, that was a good spin. Spin-a-rooney.
I was about to say that.
That was a King Booker.
I was about to say, did the spin-a-rooney or hit the circle button? A deceptive move there by Robbie Avila. 2 free throws coming up for Zeb, the grad student from out of Toledo, Ohio. The transfer from Michigan, had that extra year because of COVID.
I wish I had me a COVID year. Make some money too.
Tell you what, if that team that went to the Final Four was here now with NIL,
oh, my goodness,
that run, how much money y'all would have made?
I tell you what. God knows me.
Ames got away with, I think, with another walk, but no whistle. As it took a long time for St. Louis to set up offensively in their front court, almost 10 to shoot. Good hands by Jennings. They look to Furman, and the pass was a little too low.
That is a terrible pass.
And
by a fifth-year
launches
senior.
From distance on a 3-on-1 break.
That is a terrible pass by a fifth-year senior. There's no way in any universe do you pass that ball on a fast break to Christian Furman for him to make a decision like that. You just can't do it. I love Christian Furman just like play cousins. You can't do that to him. KYP.
Because they would say, hey, that's Furman's fault. No, that wasn't Furman's fault.
No.
But how about Gibson Jimerson on a 3-on-1 break? So I'm going to take it upon myself and hit the 3.
And for him, that is a great shot.
Yeah.
He probably works on that day in and day out. He can't get. He's not going to be. He's not being able to get any open 3 looks in the half court. That's the most open shot he had all night.
His second made 3 tonight. He's got 8 so far. And St. Louis back within 5 and showing the zone again. Jennings left open and hits from downtown. Jennings, his first made 3 of the night to give him 7 and the lead back to 8.
Great zone offense by VCU.
been a really entertaining and well played.
And listen
game
to this
so far.
crowd. Listen to this crowd. This is the old Stu.
Anya inside. Bamisile forced out and hit a fan. Hopefully everybody's okay. That was a hard collision. But it looks like Joe and the fan is okay.
Somebody call my lawyer. To be young again.
Yeah.
I'd have tripped on that court.
I'm out on the floor with 11:56 to go in the game. VCU ahead by 8. Back after this here at the Siegel Center. 51 lead over St. Louis, and now our Virginia Credit Union assists of the game. Unofficial, number 1.
Bamisile flying into the crowd. But you got to love the unselfishness giving up his body.
And now this is the true Virginia Credit Union assist of the game.
Great zone offense. Pass it to the middle, soften up the middle, and kicking out to the, not really a three-point shooter.
No.
But Brandon Jennings stepped into it, knocks it down, especially when his team needed him.
He was 1 for his first 13 from 3 before that made. Now he could shoot it when he was at St. Chris. He was a legit three-point shooter there, but a little level of competition, a little bit different at this this college game. But he knocks down that first one to make it an 8-point lead.
But he's a true hooper. It'll come with time.
Clark kept that alive, and Bamisile doesn't get the bounce. And they're going to get a foul on VCU. That's on Furman, his second.
And a round of applause for St. Louis boxing out and drawing the foul.
Now, we've seen St. Louis run a zone. We've seen Fordo last week run a zone. This is a perimeter dominant team with VCU, but yet we're seeing the last 2 games more zone.
Well, I think teams just want to mix it up on VCU. You can't keep consistently giving them the same look.
Gibson shooting an air ball. Uncharacteristic for that young man. The all-time leader in three-pointers made in the A-10. Shot air on his last attempt. Decided to come back after having a conversation with Coach Schertz in the offseason when he was hired from Indiana State. And Shoga snuck inside and found 2.
Cinemax Shoga. New movie. Same production.
Max. Almost a turnover. As
Look
Jennings
at
does
Jennings.
force the
Look
turnover.
at Jennings.
And Jennings will shoot for 3.
Oh, my. Oh, my. Big time play by the rookie.
Coach Schertz will use a 30-second timeout, which will change to a full as VCU has their largest lead of the night at the Siegel Center behind the defense of Brandon Jennings.
Look at this effort. If you ever wondered how a freshman gets playing time, example A.
Big play by Brandon Jennings back after this from the Siegel Center. VCU in the midst of an 8-0 run to lead 64-51. Brandon Jennings, a big spark in this second half for VCU. He has a career-high 10 points, has hit both of his threes in this half, and has played great defense against St. Louis.
Absolutely. You got to reward effort. And if you continuously go out there and put your all into your craft, you're going to get rewarded. And this is just a reward of Brandon Jennings' work ethic. I seen him in the gym earlier this week working on shots just like that. To see it show and prove for him is awesome. It's an awesome feeling.
And for St. Louis, Swope and Avila, who combined to score 30 in the first half, have scored just 2. Swope inside had his pass taken away. VCU on the run to Bamisile.
Bam, bam, Bamisile. Showing off that 46-inch. Vertical, that is.
It's a 10-0 run for VCU and their largest lead of the night. Swope had Jennings in the air, and Jennings comes up with the loose ball. Jennings pulls
Why
up
not?
from straight away. Heat check on the missed three.
You got to live with it.
He was able to get back on D because Swope was still in the backcourt. Here's Johnson left open for three. And Jennings the board. I think that's 6 rebounds for Jennings tonight. And VCU has dominated the glass, 29-18. Shulga doesn't get the tip. Furman's tip was no good. And St. Louis clears.
St. Louis really trying to push the pace of this game. You have to score fast to get back into it.
And Anya inside scores. That snapped a 10-0 VCU run. And they're down by 13. That was what Coach Schertz was nervous about, those spurts.
Those spurts.
That VCU can provide, especially in the second half. They have dominated opposition at home in the second half, and Shulga will get 2 free throws.
But that's the thing, you know, when you don't have that depth in that bench, and you have VCU applying pressure to you all night, and their offense is already a lot of running around, setting screens, back doors.
And slams by Bamisile.
Your legs are going to get tired. And you're just seeing the effects of that. Swope hasn't been able to find his stroke. Avila hasn't been able to get going. Jimerson only got that transition 3.
Yep.
It's hard for these kids. They need some backup.
Shulga at the line. Last year had one of the best free throw shooting seasons in a VCU jersey. Second all time. That has gone up, especially in the last 3 games, as he was shooting 80% in his last 3 games.
Returning back to form.
Yeah. Shoots 74% from the line at home. On the road, a little bit better. About 80% from the stripe, away from the single center. Crowd wanted to travel, didn't get it. Avila was close to walking there. Here's Jimerson trying to fight away from Shulga. Yanked away by Russell. And the save recovered by St. Louis. And now they're going to say they reset the clock. Because they said Philip Russell did have control. And no argument from Ryan Odom on the bench. So they reset it. They did give them 30, and they dropped it down to 28. And now Lee Castle was asking why that was a reset. Got the explanation from his teammate, Michael Greenstein. And St. Louis will be back on offense. Can they come back from down 15 to keep first place in the A-10? They're currently 3-0. Jimerson hit off the side of the backboard. Up ahead to Shulga. Found Bell, and he'll lay it in.
And you see the shots that Jimerson is trying to get off, but VCU is making every shot opportunity for him very difficult.
A 14-2 VCU run.
Look at the active hands by VCU right now.
It's almost like octopus, finding more than 2 hands. Jimerson inside gets a chance at a 3-point play. As he hit that stanchion hard with his lower back. They're attending to him, and it looks like he's okay. As we're at the under 8 media timeout, 7:40 to go. Jimerson will shoot a 3-point free throw when we come back as St. Louis trails by 15. VCU leading by 15, but the Big Three, or as they call it, the Threes Company, has done the job to try to keep St. Louis afloat, Nixon.
They tried their best, but it's going to take a little bit more than scoring to beat this VCU team. They have a stingy defense, and they have long athletic guards and forwards that really attack on both ends of the floor.
Those Big Three, Swope, Avila, and Jimerson, they're the only team, speaking of St. Louis, in the country with 3 players, those 3, that have averaged at least 17.8 points a game this season. The only team in the country. They've combined to score 42 so far tonight. But the bench, again, has been a non-factor for St. Louis.
A non-factor is an understatement, I might say. 0 points to VCU's 22 points off the bench.
Jimerson completes the three-point play, and the bench, they only average about 10 points per game. That is next to last in the NCAA, as we're going to get a foul, as Zeb was trying to climb the ladder on that alley-oop, and Anya picked up his third. But you think about it, there's what, 360-some-odd teams in Division I college basketball.
Absolutely.
They're next to last in bench points.
Man.
Speaking of St. Louis.
In St. Louis, they are dealing with injury.
They are.
They are dealing with injury. However, next man up, somebody has to step up. Otherwise, it's going to be like a Tom Thibodeau team. They're going to get tired when it comes to playoffs.
And Gibson and Swope don't come off the floor often for Coach Schertz. They are 2nd and 7th in the NCAA in percentage of minutes played. And there have been multiple times where Gibson has played the full 40 in a game.
You got to be in incredible shape to do that.
Got to be. A 1-and-1 for Michael Bell at the line as St. Louis is over the limit with their 7th team foul. And that's something that VCU will have to improve on. They're 11th in the conference in free throw shooting this season.
Which is, it just doesn't make sense. And another foul by Anya. That's 3 in the last 30 seconds.
And he becomes the first player in the danger zone. But check it, he's fouled out. Anya has fouled out.
Wow.
He will leave with 6 points and 5 rebounds and those 5 fouls. And the bench was already thin to begin with. He did go 4 deep in the bench.
But it's going to be hard to replace what Anya brings to them. A level of toughness, athleticism, and rebounding.
He's the leading rebounder in the A-10 this year at 9.7 a game, but that's a big loss for Coach Schertz with 7:12 left in regulation. The conference's leading rebounder has fouled out.
Back to the zone.
And VCU has played this zone pretty well so far. Bell on the tip, got his second tip, and got it to go.
And like I said earlier, it's very hard to defensive rebound when you're playing zone. It's like compiling.
No question.
Good spin move, but a little out of control. And great hustle.
Play by Bell to knock it off of Thames and get possession back.
And VCU's bench has brought energy and excitement all night tonight.
We've been doing games a long time. I have not seen in a long time a stat line for offensive rebounding that says VCU have more offensive rebounds, 20-2 on the offensive glass.
Insane.
And they've got 19 points on second chance opportunities. Nice pass inside the Bell, but it was last touched by St. Louis.
And that's the thing with St. Louis. St. Louis they're so geared to score that defensively, and I believe rebounding should be considered a defense because you don't end the possession until you secure the rebound. They really struggle. They don't have the depth. They don't have the athleticism to compete with a team like VCU on the board, but they have to, and they just did not tonight.
Under 10 to shoot as Phil Russell just checked in, fires on the 3, and Avila with the rebound. He's got 6 boards tonight for St. Louis, who trail by 16. Under 6 to go here in this second half. Does the Billikens have another run in them? Jackson gets a steal. Finds Bamisile left open. Offensive rebound again.
Offensive rebound. My goodness.
Here's Bamisile. Skip pass. Rotates into Russell. An extra pass to Jackson, left open for three. Another offensive rebound by Clark, but he tapped it out of bounds.
This is it's almost comedic now. Like, the disability for St. Louis to rebound the basketball or even put a body on somebody is somebody else finding after another. It's not one person just doing damage on the offensive boards. Everybody is getting offensive boards. You have to take it personal and accept the challenge individually.
19 second chance points on 21 offensive rebounds. And they're going to get Shulga with the foul. Defense has been a struggle for St. Louis. You had touched on it a couple of minutes ago. This is the 9th time they have allowed more than 70 points this year. However, during this 4-game winning streak, the defense had gotten better. They had only allowed 61 points per game, but that has been wiped away by VCU with 72.
And don't get me wrong, I think that St. Louis has good initial defense. To be honest with you, I think they have good initial defense, but VCU is really making them pay on the offensive board. The second chance points, if you take away the second chance points, they're in this game if they're not winning.
Yeah. They're going to get Shulga again with the foul, his second. And Avila found that switch and was able to attack it. That's 5 team fouls for VCU. One more foul to give before St. Louis shoots free throws. Jackson with quick hands, recovered by Jimerson. A straight on three, no good. And Jackson with the rebound as he bumped with Thames. And to VCU's credit, I mean, attacking the defensive glass as well. Sugar was about to shoot that three.
Falling down.
See if he can knock that down. But Russell will shoot for three. Avila with a good box out.
And with that matchup, Russell with Jimerson guarding him, he bailed him out by taking that three. You got to attack Jimerson.
We're inside money time as we're under the 4.5-minute mark. VCU ahead by 16. Again, the switch with Shulga. And good hands by the Rams. They got a 3-on-1.
Just not enough space in there.
A lot of contact. Russell for three.
And VCU find themselves going cold.
They've missed their last 5 field goal attempts. And a timeout on the floor with exactly 4 minutes to go. VCU ahead by 16 here at the Siegel Center. Point game against Fordham. How about 21 tonight?
Joe Bamisile, like I said, he has the ultimate green light, and he's never seen a shot he doesn't like. So he's going to get him up, and tonight he has it rolling. But what a luxury for VCU to have throughout these first 4 games of the conference to have 2 different leading scorers, and neither one of them be the preseason player of the year, Max Shulga.
That's true. Shulga has just 9 points so far, and he's on the bench on this possession as Brandon Jennings is back in. He's got a career high 10 for VCU as St. Louis rotates it around to Brockhoff, and he misses on the 3. Gibson an offensive rebound, and another 20 for the Billikens. Swope inside and draws contact on Jennings.
And Swope is just so good at stopping and going and changing directions. Good defense by Brandon Jennings, but Swope is just that good.
Isaiah Swope, the senior from out of Indiana, transferred from Indiana State, who scored 14 first-half points. That's his first point of the second half. And Avila had just 2 in this half.
But that's one of the fears. When you get it going in the first half, it's really hard to produce the same way in second, or vice versa.
2 made free throws by Swope, now with 16, and Coach Schertz will use a 30-second timeout. We've talked about the second half dominance for VCU at home this year. They've outscored their opponents collectively by 85 points, or a little under 11 points per game. They've outscored their opponents in the second half of games. Tonight, they've outscored St. Louis by 9.
Well, here's the thing. When you're playing a team like VCU, they have a great situation this season, because not only are they a really good offensive team, but they're a really good defensive team as well.
One of the best.
So if you're not blowing them out or have a comfortable lead going into the second half, you may be in trouble.
They're ranked 27th nationally in defensive efficiency this year. We talked so much about the perimeter shooting, the scores with Shoga and Bamisile and Russell. But defensively, they will lock you down in the top 30 in the country in defensive efficiency. And when you got a rebounder like Jack Clark, who has done well in the last 4 games, the alley-oop to Furman.
And that is how you break a press, ladies and gentlemen. Not a lot of dribbling, but passing, getting the ball up. Easy alley-oop from Clark to Furman.
Clark's got 4 assists to go along with his 12 points and 4 rebounds, now making 5 assists.
You just got to love Clark's development as this season goes on. He's just finding his game.
Swope steps back for the 3. Johnson an offensive rebound. Swope ice cold in this second half against the Rams. Went behind the back, ball on the floor. Johnson trying to get it out to Jimerson. Swope recovered it with under 10 to shoot. Swope fading away and hitting his first field goal of this second half.
Swope had his mind set that he was going to hit a bucket in that possession.
Nobody else was going to get the ball. Rams up by 14. Inside 2.5 minutes, we can have a jumble atop the A-10 conference if VCU can hold on to this lead. Shoga has it with 4. Jackson a long 3. A good poke out by Clark to keep possession.
And more of the same for VCU. Just active hands, aggressively attacking the offensive glass.
Clark averaging 9 rebounds in his last 4 games before tonight. Really playing well for VCU. Bamisile, nice pass to Furman, but a shot clock violation. Odom is saying,
Max, why don't you shoot the ball?
Shoot the ball. You or Bamisile, I like to shoot. There's your chance. But it did take an extra 20 off the clock. Maybe not too bad.
Yeah, at this juncture in the game, it's okay. But you want to see Max take the initiative and just take that shot.
Coming up on 90 seconds to go. VCU, if they hold on, will be in a 3-way tie with St. Louis and George Mason for the conference lead. Swope with 4 points in this second half, and good hands by Bamisile. A 2-on-1 to Shoga for the finish.
Good hands by Bamisile right there. Sat on Swope's crossover, poked it free.
Joe Bamisile's got 3 assists, Ed Nixon.
Hey, a clock is wrong twice a day. A clock is right. A broken clock is right twice a day.
A 16-point lead for VCU with under a minute to go. And they're going to get a foul on Jack Clark. It looked clean from here, but let's go back to that play.
Oh, this is the alley-oop.
Furman, his
Special
head
delivery.
almost hit the rim. But there's the great hands by Bamisile and the nice pass to Max. Max again in double figures, 71st time in his career. 62nd time for Bamisile to score at least 10.
And this is a luxury for Max. I remember last year Max had to carry a lot of weight on his shoulders of scoring the ball. This year, not so much. The wealth is being spread out.
Brockhoff makes both free throws, the transfer from UC Santa Barbara. played on the Germany under-19 team that finished second in the 2022 and 23 FIBA European Championships. Coming to St. Louis as the crowd rises to their feet here at the Siegel Center as we're almost at the half-minute mark of the second half. Bamisile connects again for his 23rd point.
Bamisile looked at the clock, seeing who was in front of him, and said, oh no, I gotta make you pay.
And another turnover. VCU doesn't have to shoot it. 19 turnovers forced by VCU and another dominant second half.
VCU completely dominated this game on multiple facets of it. And they walk out of here #1 in the A-10.
They will be tied with St. Louis and George Mason atop the A-10 standings as they take it 78-62. That snaps St. Louis's 4-game winning streak. VCU now has won 3 in a row and 4 of their last 5. We'll come back to the Siegel Center to wrap it up right after this. VCU goes to 9-0 here at the Siegel Center, 13-4 overall with a 78-62 win. And with that victory, there it is, the log jam atop the A-10. VCU, George Mason, and St. Louis all now 3-1 with Davidson, GW, and Duquesne a half game back at 2-1, and the Bonnies, who have dropped 2 straight after that 14-1 start, and Rhode Island all at 2-2. It is a major jigsaw puzzle atop the A-10 conference, but VCU back in the mix with their 16-point win, and the numbers outside of those numbers presented by the Virginia Credit Union were dominated by VCU tonight.
Absolutely. If you look at where VCU got their points from, they have 27 points off turnovers, 38 points in the paint, 19 second chance points, 15 fast break points, and 26 bench points to St. Louis's 2. Outstanding game by VCU. And they put the A-10 conference on notice.
They were the preseason favorites to win the conference, and they showed who were the leaders in the A-10, that the road to DC will have to go possibly through the Siegel Center.
Absolutely.
Because they're 9-0 at home, and a college basketball analyst or insider will always say playing at the Siegel Center is like a 10-day road trip to Europe.
Absolutely. And VCU just came out and they just played a dominant performance from tip to finish. And you just got to tip your hat to that. And you want to, if you're a VCU, you want to repeat that over and over and over again. You found an identity, now live with that and grow with that.